Thank you all so much for watching yet another one of my interviews here at the Pelican Institute for Public Policy's great event here in Baton Rouge. And we're bringing together not only people that are freedom and liberty oriented, but people who want to help create good policies around that to help our communities thrive. With me is Mark Janus. Mark, thank you so much for being on today.
Yeah, thank you.
And the name of your organization, please.
I work for the Liberty Justice Center. We're a public interest law firm. We handle cases concerning freedom rights, like First Amendment cases and other types of litigation. Just trying to give people a voice that, to go against some of what we consider to be egregious department rules, maybe public sector unions, a whole variety of cases.
So off camera, you told me about an example of what you all are working on, that there was some law in California, I'm emphasizing that for a reason, that failed, and now and that law they're trying to bring nationwide. This Biden administration is trying to bring it nationwide. And I know what it is, but I'm going to let you answer the question.
Well, what it boiled down to is it's a couple of years ago, the state of California passed what's known as AB 5, and it was designed to knock down independent contractors. So let's say you were a trucker and you had an independent rig. According to this new AB 5, you could no longer have an independent truck. You literally had to go and work for a large trucking company. So you had a tremendous number of these independent truckers that left the state because they couldn't work in the state anymore. Well, if you are an independent individual and you want to do your own thing, why would you want to knock that down? Plus, it also seemed to come about at the time when we were having supply chain issues and you couldn't get enough trucks to haul the goods off the docks to warehouses.
Basically, this sounds like, and you're talking about truckers as an example, but this could be any small independent business, any small individual who's got a one-man show that operates as a business on 1099 income working for other people. It's basically saying you cannot have 1099 income anymore.
Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's a good gist of it. For example, the current administration wants to roll out a rule right now on a nationwide basis that parodies AB 5. In fact, Liberty Justice Center has a case here in Louisiana with Frizard Trucking, where they are saying that Frizard Trucking cannot hire independent contractors to do their business, which they use to help supply goods across Louisiana and other states.
So who's saying they can't do it?
That's the federal government and the Department of Labor.
So why is the federal government picking on that particular business?
That's a good, well, it's not only the trucking industry, but it's any other independent contractor with a series of tests that have become way more ambiguous and way more onerous than what we've had in the past. And some of this is on the behest of your unions, and because the unions think that if you eliminate the independent contractor, you then now have a new pool of labor that they can then engage and get them to pay dues and join a union.
So do you know this for a fact that this is really more of a plan from the unions to eliminate small business and bring in new members?
Well, I can't say that that's the case, but there's some anecdotal.
It's the byproduct.
It's a byproduct of
what's going to happen.
What potentially could happen.
So not to say that the unions are creating this fiasco, but they're certainly going to support it because it helps bring in more people in the unions.
Right. And the one thing you have to remember about, and I'm going to speak primarily public sector unions now because that's where my focus is, and that's why I brought the case Janus versus AFSCME. AFSCME is American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. And in the state of Illinois, where I used to work for the state of Illinois, I had to pay dues to that union. Even though I didn't want to, they never asked me to, I was just forced to do it. And I didn't like it. Plus, that union in Illinois supported policies and procedures that I just did not agree with.
As we talk about this, I'm not against unions.
I'm not either. I'm not either.
I'm a freedom liberty guy. I'm like, you know what? If somebody wants to have a union and there are people who want to be a member of that union. That's their freedom, that's their liberty. I don't want it to have to be forced, coerced, or in this case, what would be the word that I'm looking for, where it's something that happens out of a penalty.
Correct.
It's more the repercussions of a penalty than it is choice.
And that's exactly the point that I made, and why I took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and why I won my case, is because the unions were forcing me to pay for something that I didn't want.
Right.
And the other part is they have exclusive collective bargaining in many, many areas. And one of the problems is that, in essence, they are representing me against my will.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that once this case came to its conclusion, and they no longer could force the agency fees, as they called it, the union went ballistic. They said, now we have a whole bunch of free riders. Well, here's the problem with that. They were free riding on me for many, many years prior to the case coming to its conclusion. The other part is, why, if you are producing such a good product as a union, why wouldn't people voluntarily join that union for the benefits that they provide?
So let's focus on the policy that you're working with the Pelican Institute, which is not only a state level, but also a reflection of what's happening on a national level.
On a national level, that's correct. Because what we're trying to do is give people the benefit and the opportunity to do what they want and not have some other entity force them into doing something. For example, here in Louisiana, you're looking at trying to establish and expand choice in schools, free choice, because parents are finding, because of the COVID situation, that schools aren't necessarily doing a great job. Now, not all schools are bad, but the point is, parents and students need to have that freedom of choice. Unfortunately, in the state of Illinois, where I used to live, the Chicago Teachers Union stopped the freedom of choice on a scholarship program and said, no, you can't have that freedom anymore. And so we had about 10,000 students that now had to go back to a public school, and what's even more abominable is that less than 30% of the students in the Chicago public schools can read and write at grade level and do math at grade level. And the question that I always raise, if you don't have a good education and you don't support good education, where are we going to get our future employees in the workforce?
That's right. So, Mark, one final question, and I want you in a minute to let people know how they can be more involved. But one final question for you is, so your organization is working on the forefront to helping stop or be a part of stopping this new Biden administration law that's going to eliminate 1099 income.
Well, it's not a law. It's a ruling out of the Department of Labor.
So they're doing it out of the Department of Labor,
right,
and not through the Constitution.
No, they're doing it bypassing Congress.
They're circumventing the United States Constitution. Yet again,
right.
I've been covering this in my show a lot. I get fired up about it. This is how the bureaucratic agencies circumvent the Constitution. This is where the American people are losing freedom. This is going to hurt not only freedom, but it's going to hurt small businesses in America.
Well,
it's going to practically eliminate small businesses if this Department of Labor is able to pass this administrative law.
I wouldn't go as far as to say it's going to eliminate it. It's just going to make it a lot more difficult, and it's going to cause a lot of people that prefer independent work. Let's say you have a mother with children, and maybe she's a journalist. Maybe she likes to work for a flower shop part-time in Valentine's Day when they've got a rush. Maybe she wants to work part-time, or a man does, and during the day, because they want to, while the kids are in school, they can get a small job, help out the family. That may not occur anymore. As an example, potentially.
This is going to give government more control, the people less freedom. Right. And the Janus organization is fighting that.
Liberty Justice Center, who I work for, are taking these cases and trying to get some of these things stopped. And we're trying to give people the opportunity to get what they deserve from the standpoint of their freedoms and their ability to fight these large situations that the average individual may not be able to do.
So
because
Mark,
we're strictly pro bono. We don't charge a dime.
so how
for what
can
we
people
do.
help? How can people help? How can people help get involved with your organization, or how can they be more aware of it?
Well, what they can do, if you strongly believe in this case and you see something that's egregious and you think you have a case, you can contact us at libertyjusticecenter.org, and maybe we can help you with a case. Or if you want to donate, we take donations. We're a not-for-profit, and we take donations to be able to mount these cases to try to protect people, and go against big government, if you will.
Is this ruling at the Department of Labor, is it your big project now?
Well, it's one of many that we have that are all across the nation. We handle cases all over the country. And I'd like to say every case we take is major, and every case we take is very, very important. Because if it wasn't for people like the Liberty Justice Center and our attorneys, there's an awful lot of people that would get shoved off to the side and are just totally lost. I get emails, not constantly, but I get emails periodically, people just asking me for help. And I do my best to try to help them and point them in the right direction.
Any other hot topics y'all working on briefly?
I think the biggest hot topic that's going on right now, is the public sector unions and the amount of power they have. And the fact that if you are in a public sector union, which is a government union, whether it be local, state, or federal, the one thing you have to look at is that you do not have to pay them dues. And they do not have to in order to keep your job. And the one thing that I try to emphasize is you do have rights. And the fact that if you want to resign from that union, you can, whether you're a teacher, whether you're an electrician, whether you are, a police officer or any other entity that's working in the public sector. And don't let them come in and coerce you into saying, oh, well, you can't keep your job unless you're a member of the union. The Supreme Court decided, and they said, no, you don't have to do that anymore.
Mark, one last time, how can people help in your website?
Our website is Liberty Justice Center, all one word, .org. And we have all our cases listed there if you want to read about us, if you want to contact us, or if you want to make a donation and help us out. That would be great.
I love it. Mark, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
If you think that the Liberty Center can help you, the Liberty Justice Center can help you with anything, please go visit their website, and please share this video with somebody you think might need their help. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.